cousin or whatever. My name is Robert Malone. This is West Terrace Cemetery, Adelaide, South Australia. This is, we're going to have a look at where Bridget Anne Malone is buried, and of her 7 sons that came to Australia, 6 of them are buried here. So we're going to do a little tour. A Thursday lunchtime, and this is actually West Terrace itself, for what it's worth. Now we're going to, there is an office there, but I don't think there's ever anybody in there. There is a computer terminal there which you can print out anything you like. We're going to take off in the car down this road here. On the left hand side is probably about 3/4 of the cemetery, but the Catholic section is on our right hand side, and we'll head off in that area now. Okay, we're going down that road now. As I said, 3/4 of the cemetery is on the left hand side. This was the first cemetery, obviously with the first settlers. So that's the right hand side. The Catholic area is down off of that way. And now we're going a cemetery's a cemetery, isn't it? This one is fairly run down, apart from this little area here. This is the Greeks and Italians in there. They sort of go in for the big way. Okay, now where we're going to do, we're heading off just in front of us up here is what's called the Smythe Chapel. So I'm going to use that as a base to try and help you get some sort of bearing where these gravestones are. So where we are now, Bridget Anne Malone's grave is just back on the left hand side. Now there's that Smythe Chapel. Okay, so we're using that as a base. Just being smart there. So there we are, the Smythe Chapel. I'm turning around now and facing west, and as this sign says, the Catholic area is, we've got an old area, a western ground and an eastern ground. The Catholic old area is over this way by where that huge tree is someone walking past. So where that huge tree is where Anne and John are both in the same grave, son John. Down this way in the western area we have Patrick, Martin and Peter. Okay, just down by the end there, and coming back around up this way we have Thomas and James. Okay, so that's and that area looking back there is towards the city of Adelaide itself. Okay, we'll go walkabouts now, and we'll start, of course, at the top. We'll go with Bridget Anne. Okay, I'm standing next to Bridget Anne's grave. Just take that back a little bit. That's the big tree I was referring to. And down at this little old grave here we have mother of 10 children, amazing woman. I don't know whether you can see that coming up or not. It has Anne Malone, but in the records it does show her name as Bridget. Okay, and that's also, of course, it's got there of the late relic of the late Anthony Malone, and around here a bit better with the sun on it. This is where the son John was buried. John never married. Okay, back to the tree. We're going to walk up this path here, and then we head off to our left, which is going west at the end of the path. Okay, I've just walked up this dirty, weedy path. There's the big tree. This is the old Catholic section in there where Bridget Anne and John are. Now we're looking down at the western, and there's a railway line down the end there, so if you hear some noise at some stage. And over this side we're going to head off now to the three boys, Patrick, Peter and Martin. They're all in that area there. Okay, we're down that road. There's that sign, and the chapel is back in there. A bit hard to see behind the trees. Coming down here, now we got a row RR, who is Patrick. So we'll walk up here. See the chapel there. As per usual, most of these state of repair is not good. So this is Patrick and Catherine, both buried here. Patrick is my grandfather. I never met him. Okay, we'll just cut across here. Unfortunately, the Catholic part of West Terrace is probably in the worst condition. So there's UU, and just here we've got this is Margaret and Peter. Now there isn't a headstone for Peter, but he is also buried here. I presume it was a separate one and it's disappeared. Okay, now we're going to backtrack where we came. We're in WW. And I'll just scan around a little bit, but yes, we're by Martin's. That's the railway tracks. So this is the extreme southwestern corner of the cemetery, and there's Louisa, Gertrude and Martin. And that's Martin's there, and that's going back over to Peter's. So they're very close together, and I said Patrick's only a couple just up in that direction. Okay, so we're going to head back up the road back past to the chapel. We're going to head on to the other side of it. Okay, now we're on the other side, obviously the east side of the chapel. The chapel is just there. And we're going down to row F here, and this one is Thomas. And that's sort of being kept in reasonably good nick. He has quite an extensive family, so it's Thomas and another Bridget, of course. And yeah, I'm not going through all the names. Okay, now we're going back over. This is the extreme eastern end, or going back up that way, as that's looking back towards the city again. I'll keep the camera rolling. This is the way we're going to escape. They haven't locked us in yet. We're coming back to that Catholic Eastern ground. So there's the chapel again. Overshot the mark a bit there. Back we come. So this is James. So we've covered the 7 sons and Bridget, of course. And there are other, once again, there are other members of the family in this site. Okay, I'll just do a circle around to confuse you. But of course you recognise that. Now just for good measure, we'll come back out here. And I've got to find it, it's the one I visit most. I'll show in my father's grave. Here we go, just here. So this is my father's grave, Francis Patrick, son of Patrick Francis. A long story, but it's actually my grandmother's site on my dad's father's side. My mother's buried in another cemetery with her mother on the other side of town, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so ends our tour of the West Terrace Cemetery, and we'll get back to where we started from. Goodbye. Just a correction of what I just said, there are 6 of the 7 sons that came to Australia buried in this cemetery with their mother Bridget Anne. The other son, Anthony, is buried at a place called Crystal Brook, which we call country South Australia, a good 100 miles from here. Over and out.